In this episode of Startup Circle, we catch up with Vamsi Krishna, founder and CEO of Vedantu, an edtech player now valued at a cool $600 million, making it the second most valued edtech player in the country today. Take a look. Vamsi, you all recently raised $100 million as part of your Series D financing round, which valued the company at $600 million. Which makes it the second most valued edtech startup in the country right now. What do you plan to do with the funds?
And yes, we recently concluded our Series D with 100 million. This actually comes back of the last one, which we also concluded just a couple of months back, right? So it's a great validation for what we are doing, right? And also this round, we were really not looking for it. But incidentally, it so happened that there were some good partners, and this post-COVID time, EdTech as a sector was strong tailwinds there. We have seen unprecedented students coming in, revenues, any metric grew by almost 4 times in the last 4-5 months. So I think all of this really made us become more cognizant of the fact that this is the time where we should lean in more and go more intensive on our brand building activities and our outreach activities, get as many students and parents to witness a Vedantu's live class. To your question on Varsha, on where do we really look at spending this? I think just in the last one itself, which we just did a couple of months back, the idea of that was we wanted to spend on majorly 2 areas. One was brand, which is something which we already started and which will probably lean in more on. And the second is new categories. In fact, I'm sure you would know about this, as we recently launched our K to K5 category, the early years category. And that's an area where we intend to invest in more. Apart from that, obviously, Vedantu is a pioneer in live tutoring. So live interactive classes is what we specialize in. So investing in that technology platform.
The live interactive classes that you mentioned, that's really Vedantu's USP. And I want to talk a bit about that, which kind of ties back to your journey. You yourself were a teacher for about 13 years before you started Vedantu. So what were the lessons that you learned from, being a teacher in an offline setting that you brought to Vedantu?
So that's a great question, Varsha. In fact, we operated in an offline setup for 8 years. Laksh was the name of that venture. We did along with my co-founders, and then came to online actually in 2014. So when we shifted from offline to online, the reason we shifted was scale was a challenge in offline. And when we started Vedantu, the idea of Vedantu was very simple. We wanted to create the best offline classroom experience and convert that to online. And that was the problem statement. And when that is the problem statement, obviously at the center was the teacher and the how the teaching happens in an offline center. All of us have been part of that.
Yeah.
So we know what makes an offline classroom experience a great classroom experience is that interaction between the teacher and the students. So when we started Vedantu, Varsha, the idea was that how do we create a system which can replicate or even make a 10x better version of that, right? So hence, that was the main motivation and the reason behind the Vedantu's choice of live tutoring as a pedagogy.
And you have something called the engagement quotient, or EQ as you call it, which helps you measure the level of interaction and engagement between student and teacher. Tell us about that.
At a very basic level, what EQ stands for is an engagement quotient, and what it tries to do is measure how engaging a session was from a child's perspective. Yeah. So just to make it very practical, if this session which we are doing right now were to happen on Wave, which is our own live teaching platform, which stands for Whiteboard Audio Video Environment. We call it Wave internally. So this was happening on Wave. What Wave does is measure all the data points around, let's say, me talking and the child talking. What is a voice modulation? What is the time difference between me asking a question and it can recognize that, and the child answering the question, and how accurate was that answer, right? And there are other things as well, the face recognition. Am I looking at the screen, not looking at the screen? How is the teacher writing? While writing, is the teacher also talking, not talking? So there are almost, I think, around 76 parameters on which we capture all this data. Using this data, we can go back and train our teachers better. We can go back and make our content even more engaging, right? And also understand where the child is lagging, and then go and do personalized interventions around that.
Vamsi, the pandemic has been a busy time for you all. You launched the K to K5 program, like you mentioned. You launched a coding program for younger kids as well. What kind of traction have you seen for these newer programs?
It's amazing, actually. We never expected that kind of a traction. We actually started off with launching math and science classes for free for the K to K5 division. And this was part of the overall goal of Vedantu when I think this was somewhere around last week of March when the country announced lockdown. And when we did that, a lot of demands started coming in for K5 and below. And so we never planned that actually, but we sort of like mobilized quickly and made even the K to K5 base subscription free. And that, I mean, just within few weeks, we had more than 200,000 students. That was mind blowing because we never expected that. And the kids were really engaged. I mean, they were sitting there for 30 minutes, 40 minutes and taking the class. So that was really the inspiration. And so we started with two programs. One was coding and the second is for English reading. And coding has been going on for I think now close to 1.5 months. We also converted that into a paid product. I mean, the traction of that is probably the highest for, as compared to any other new category which we have launched. Even English is coming out well. I think it's a pleasant surprise for us that kids even that young can, are more comfortable studying online.
But the real test will be to retain these users that have come onto the platform. So what are you all going to do to kind of ensure that they stick on with the platform even after COVID settles down?
That's a very important question. In fact, for the whole of the edtech sector, that's an important question because free usage have increased a lot, but it also has to convert into not just paid engagement, but continual engagement. Now we have data around it in terms of even our paid subscribers and in terms of paid usage. Even those metrics have, that's actually the one which have grown up by 4x. The free usage is actually grown up by even 7-8x. So I think we are seeing very strong conversions, even in terms of revenues and in terms of paid users. Just to give you some sense, in terms of total users who used to take a live class on Vedantu, this was around 125,000 in the month of Jan. I think we just crossed 1 million students taking a live class on the platform. So this is the kind of jump. Second part of your question, which is actually very important, is what do you do to retain these kids? See, I think what is critical is you need to give them an experience which makes them believe that this is an experience which is better than, if not equal, it's better actually than the offline experience which they were used to. And that's the most critical part because they are coming here because the offline option is essentially disabled right now. So if they don't feel this experience is better than the offline experience which they were used to, they will go back. Currently the schools are all doing is online thing. I think when schools will reopen, and they will reopen at some point, they will obviously go back to the physical. But let's say the after school tutoring, the coachings, the tuitions, where essentially Vedantu operates, I believe that for a foreseeable future, those are not something which are going to open up quickly given the situation. And online companies like Vedantu, it's critical that we give them an experience which is, if not equal, 10x better than the offline mom and pop tuitions or a coaching experience. And if you are able to successfully do that, there is no way any parent is going to go back because one, it is less in cost, it is more convenient, they can sit at home and do it. And also the quality of the teacher obviously is better because they are not restricted to a nearby teacher around their house. So there are inherent advantages, but the experience, they need to feel that experience is if not 10x superior. It's at least equal or better than the offline experience.
And Vamsi, you all recently made an investment in InstaSolve, which is a doubt solving platform. Tell us about the nature of that partnership and what are the synergies that you see?
But we ourselves have our own doubt solving, product, and then we saw this company led by amazing entrepreneurs, wherein they are trying to automate that process. So
Right.
rather than having humans at the back end solving it, they are using image recognition technology (OCR)
Mhm.
and identifying the question and mapping it with the solution which is already existing in the database, right? And the whole idea is to integrate this into our services in future.
The edtech space has seen a lot of activity in the recent past. You all raised money, Byju's has raised money, an academy is in talks to raise money. In fact, they also recently acquired a startup that operates in the K to 12 space, which is the space you all operate in. Um, Reliance has hinted at entering the edtech space through its GeoMeet platform. So competition is intensifying in this space. Is that something that worries you, or do you think the market is large enough for multiple players to operate?
Like, it's great you asked that question. So, I was laughing because me and my co-founders were discussing this just the other day. Just few years back, Varsha, I think around like 2018 or 19. And since Vedantu has been doing this from since 2014 now.
Yeah.
So, we were joking that for the first 4 odd years, the question we used to get is, there is no competition, right? So there is no other company who is doing it. And that's kind of like even more, a difficult question to answer, because that essentially means that this is not something which people see a lot of demand in. So frankly speaking, Varsha, I am actually very happy as a founder, because Vedantu was fundamentally started with a singular focus of that live tutoring, live interactive class is a better pedagogy to teach online. And in 2014, when a bunch of companies were already there and they were doing the video recordings and the asynchronous learning, we were the first one to start with synchronous. And throughout that 4.5 years, we stuck to this. So, so frankly speaking, I am super happy that other small to big companies are all coming into this space, right? Which further validates what we have always professed there. Now, having said that, education is such a big space, Varsha. I always maintain this, that even in offline, if you look at it, right, there are multiple brands, and in online also, I think there will be multiple brands here, and there are so many small to big things to be done. It requires a lot of edupreneurs to come and do their thing, right, do their bit. But yes, you will definitely see some of the top companies consolidating, right? Like, for example, we invested in InstaSolve, and like that, other companies you mentioned are also investing. So yes, there would be consolidations happening in this space as well, but there is a huge space out there.
Right.
I think all the online companies combined is not even like 3% of the market share today, less than that.
Vamsi, the changes that we've seen in the edtech space through this pandemic, are they here to stay, or do you think we'll get back to normal once things settle down?
Yeah, that's a fabulous question actually. So I'll answer it in this way, Varsha. So first and foremost, edtech, and let me talk about Vedantu as a representation of that, has always in the last 2.5, 3 years has witnessed strong trends, right? So it has nothing to do with pandemic. This situation has accelerated this, but even without this COVID situation, we were growing at 3.5 times year on year.
Okay.
Now, what this pandemic has done is the same 3.5, 3 to 4x growth we are seeing in now 3-4 months.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what is happening, right? If you frankly ask me, obviously sustaining or probably this kind of pace continuing isn't going to be there, and it's obviously this is more of special circumstances. But if you take the situation away, even without the situation, education companies and Vedantu specifically was growing at 3-4x, and that is something which, if not more than that, at least that kind of rates is something which is very normal to see in edtech.
Right.
given the fact that the penetration is still so low right now.
So as you now grow the platform and scale up, what are the challenges you foresee in the near term as well as the long term?
There are actually quite a lot of them, and just to probably list all the initial few, I think infrastructure is one big challenge, right? Even today, with all the advancements and the stuff government is doing, the other internet companies are doing, right? The penetration and the stability of the internet is I mean it's still what it is, right? And so that's one. The cost of the devices and the cost of the internet needs to come further down, right? The device accessibility is still a challenge, right? Even today, although mobiles is strongly getting penetrated, but when you talk about education and talk about even going into rural places and there every child getting access to a quality teacher, we can do our bit as Vedantu, but if their child doesn't have a device, there's nothing we can do. Now coming to what Vedantu can solve, we are trying our best to disrupt the price points even further, right? So today we are at around probably 40 to 50% of the offline price points. My aim is in the next 12 months we would want to disrupt this even to half of where we are, right? And that's something which we can do, and we are very strongly working in that direction, not compromising on the quality of interaction.
So what next for Vedantu? What can we expect?
A lot, Varsha. I mean, I'm pretty excited for this year. In fact, this year has been full of so many developments. Few of it we didn't anticipate only, which is, of course, the COVID one. But irrespective of that, this year we would see a lot of innovations being rolled out from Vedantu. So without disclosing more details today, I'm pretty excited to tell you that we are coming out with an improvised version of our live teaching platform, which would take the standard of live interactive class to the next level.